Welcome back to R-Type Final 2. Last time we finished up the Y DLC, which means we're going today into the Z, the final DLC pack. It's 7, actually 8 stages that we're going to be playing through. Not going to be doing things much different from last time. We're starting on Z. As opposed to playing on Bido, I will be playing on normal. I do not think there is anything new or interesting being shown off on higher difficulties in this bunch. And I realized we are still going to be using the retain power-ups after defeat ticket, and I realized that the reason that I wasn't able to use the special weapon is because I had it disabled. I probably disabled it when I was farming for currencies, because turning it back on does give you more currency. I'm not too concerned about that for now, though. So let's just start off on normal.
How are you feeling? Now, you are about to go into the start sequence. The start sequence has been completed. Are you ready to take off? Good luck.
TP3, Mr. Heli. A fan favorite. Asteroid Survey Sentry. Developed to scout asteroids, the propeller works not only intra-atmosphere, but also in space by using cosmic dust to generate force. I don't believe that for a second. Crystal Wave Cannon. Damages enemies by synthesizing high-density crystals. Crystal size increases in proportion to the amount of charge. Large crystals can crack the ground open on impact and will inflict damage continuously. It also has the Mr. Heli Force, features a propeller-shaped control rod. This propeller is more than just decoration. It spins during battle, damaging enemies on contact. And even the little Mr. Heli Bits. Developed to support asteroid survey units, it is able to shoot independent of the charge level. Then other than that, nothing new, though we have not really seen the vertical missile depth bomb yet. Stage Z1 on a shining green planet. This is actually a remake of Cave from Mr. Heli's Great Adventure, so it's only fitting we're using Mr. Heli for this one. The start of it, the immediate start isn't too bad. But that idiot that shoots out the missiles is rough. He does a spread, so you can't... Oh, I can get behind him and do the damage. You can't really get behind him and do the damage. Also, most of your power-ups are going to be hidden within the blocks, just like in the original Mr. Heli. You don't kill an enemy to get it to drop. So killing that rocket launcher guy is one of the harder things to do in the intro, but once you can do that, you're past the initial hard spot. Starting out here with no power-ups can also be a little bit rough because you don't have the means of dealing with them. Now, the enemies themselves actually dig out from the blocks and the ground. The ones that dig out from the blocks, typically you can destroy the blocks and the enemies stop coming out of them. The ones that come out of the ground, on the other hand, you're just going to have to deal with for a little while. This intro is probably the hardest part of the stage, because you're very likely to get somebody attacking you from behind, and you start with very few power-ups, or get caught out of position by something. After that, it's not too bad. The turret guys still continue to show up, but typically they're in positions that are much easier for you to deal with. Maybe you have space to dodge, or you can sneak up on them from one side or another. I knew that one was coming. I was panicking, dodging between all the rocks. And I saw that enemy coming from behind, and I thought, I have to kill that enemy, though. But I moved right into the rocks. Just kill the enemy in a different position, and you're never in a position to have to deal with dodging into the rock in that particular way. And once you've risen up, that brings you to the stage's mini-boss, which is actually the same mini-boss as existed in the original Mr. Heli. Dies fairly quickly. Do a good charge attack. I always thought that guy looked like... What was the game called? Robo Kid? Which was another very old side-scrolling... I don't know if you'd call it a shooter, but it's the same kind of game as Mr. Heli, which I suppose makes it that. And again, just like in the original stage, you get this section of brick with these enemies digging through it. You cannot move into the passages that they have dug, which is why they're still kind of grayed out. But it does at least let you see where they are and what they're doing while they're in there. Since you never particularly know when one is going to show up from off-screen, this area can be a little dangerous. But for the most part, it's not too bad. And that brings us to the boss of the stage. A kind of lengthy stage, but not a particularly difficult stage. The boss can be a little bit rough with the turrets off to the side, catching you out of position or not. But the boss itself isn't terribly difficult. It doesn't have a lot of health. SMGRF, Granvia F. Submarine Spec Transdimensional Fighter. A submarine craft installed with the latest convection propulsion system, Dynacore. Its development code is Hydrophobia Grampus, but it is commonly known as Granvia. It is shaped like a submarine, and it boasts excellent battle performance underwater, but internally, it is a transdimensional fighter. The craft's control subunit is rumored to use non-human technology, but no one knows whether this is true or not. The Yugu Tsukure Wave Cannon. 4 loot max, oh boy. This wave cannon boasts astounding destructive force. However, there is very little information about its workings in the public domain. It distorts space and time around the target to inflict damage. Limitations on its power have been added, dulling its performance. It is said that this wave cannon has the power to destroy not just a planet, but a whole solar system. However, these rumors are yet to be put to the test. The Granvia Force, a force for underwater craft equipped with technology to secure energy in a torpedo structure to prevent the optical weaponry from losing its power as it travels through a liquid upon discharge. And then nothing terribly special in the bits and missiles. However, it does have the anti-air missile, which I do not think we have seen yet. Stage Z2, Deep Sea Ruins. This is a remake of Seabed Ruins from another game by IREM, In the Hunt. Of course, in the original, the creature had a proper stone face, and here it's a little more mechanical, fitting with the theming of R-Type in general. But it's another vertical stage. And kind of neat in that you are being chased by this thing the entire stage. Occasionally he'll spit out some air bubbles or whatnot, which will shove your ship upwards a little bit, so just something you have to be aware of to compensate for. Sometimes that can put you into a bad position. Also be aware that his hands will kill you. Sometimes he moves a bit further down, giving you a little bit more breathing rooms, and he'll wait a minute before climbing himself up. And then sometimes he'll speed up to catch back up with you. I typically leave my force on the back end for most of this stage, because being a vertical stage, you're going to be attacked from the left and right for most of the stage. These mines can be very dangerous if you don't have a ship that can destroy something above it. Thankfully, our vertical missiles do a very good job of that, so those mines really aren't a threat to us this entire stage. I went back and forth between getting red and blue in this stage, seeing as they're both very direct attacks that just shoot straight out. Red is a little more immediate and impactful. What blue does is it leaves those rings that spin out after the missile fires, and those will also hit things. So it's kind of about either doing your direct damage or leaving something a little lingering. I'm not actually sure what yellow does. Ah, there we are. I wasn't not terribly fond of yellow, especially for this stage where I think you need more direct damage. And we died right as we hit that checkpoint. So we get to continue almost uninterrupted. In this section, you almost don't want to destroy those orbs because they will destroy these blocks for you. And I found with this particular ship, I have a very difficult time destroying these blocks above me. So I'm attempting not to destroy those, though I do have to defend myself, of course. Because if they can clear a good path for me, then all the better. And when the boss destroys that pillar in the middle, that also gives you a little bit of free reign. I tried to stop shooting there, but I think I killed that one before it really occurred to me. With the pillar gone in the middle and I can get a different weapon than yellow, the rest of this should be a little bit easier. Well, that said, we're also out of it now. Blue also, if you'll notice, kind of sucks enemies in, if they even get near it. And these last couple enemies falling down mark almost the end of the stage. Which brings us to the boss fight proper, where we actually have to kill the creature below us. The stage mostly consists of him shooting, or the boss mostly consists of him shooting that laser, where you want to dodge to the right side or not, and him using his hands to knock the pillars down. The 3 pillars on the right and left will only drop when he hits that wall with his hands. The 2 pillars in the middle, you have to shoot in order to get them to drop. Which on one hand means, yeah, just don't shoot them. But if you do shoot them and get them to drop and they fall on the boss, it does a respectable amount of damage. So that can be a pattern, and even a resource for you. You just have to pay attention to it. Mostly, you can just hide in the direct center, right above him. Pay attention to his hands and the pillars directly above you, so you dodge to the right side if you are going to drop them on him. And then when he starts lasering, get to one side or the other. Not a terribly difficult boss. And I'm not sure what exactly is underneath the face we just destroyed, but it looks like organic something. I can see a mouth now, too. Which even mimics the original boss, where you kind of destroyed the stone off and saw kind of an unpleasant red underneath it. At this point, he also starts shooting out these eyeball things. Not terribly difficult. I think they only come out when you're shooting him. No, it's an attack that he does. But still, stay off to one side so you can do the damage that you can. Just keep an eye on the hands.